Hi guys, we will start with a broadcast section with no embargo, followed by an embargo section for 10:30 p.m. tonight. No live tweeting during the broadcast section. Please use the microphone provided. James.
Hi Ange. Any new injuries? Anyone due back?
There's a couple still sore from the weekend, or the midweek, sorry. Let's look at days again. Just waiting on see how Brennan, he's got a bit of a calf complaint, and Biss is a bit sore as well, so we're just waiting to hear information on them. Coming back, Ben Davies should be involved.
Your reflections on the North London derby, you spoke afterwards about a lack of intensity. Do you feel that's a physical thing or a mental thing?
Oh, look, it could be a bit of both. Especially, like I said, the first half we were way too sort of passive in our approach, and both with and without the ball, and allowed sort of Arsenal to dictate the game and set the tempo, and we weren't really able to kind of make an impact in the way we wanted to. Second half was a bit better, but ultimately, it cost us.
How's it going in terms of bringing in reinforcement for a pretty depleted squad at the moment?
Yeah, well, club's working as hard as it can, and that's all you can ask for. And like I said, January's not an easy month, but I do know a lot of work's being done behind the scenes, and to try and get some reinforcements in.
Randall Kolo Muani looks like he's going to join Juventus. Is that a big setback?
For me?
Yeah, on the club.
No.
You weren't in for him?
Well, I mean, it depends what you mean by in. We've been interested and we're looking at a number of players, but did we get to the point where we thought he was coming to us? No.
You mentioned it's a tough window. Are you confident you can get some business done?
As confident as you can be. As I said, it's not, it is tricky, as all clubs are finding. So, I guess traditionally kind of ramps up kind of in that sort of final week. So we're approaching there for all clubs, because it's even trickier in January, because once you try and acquire a player, you're trying to acquire a player from a club that potentially wants to replace that player. So there's all sorts of logistics involved.
An attacking player and a defender still the priority?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's available and what help we can get.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Nif, please.
Hi, Ange. Good afternoon. Good seeing you again. We just heard that Erling Haaland, he signed the Premier League's biggest ever contract at Man City, 10 years contract with no release clause. What's your initial thoughts about it, mainly in terms of the commitment from the player and from the club?
Yeah, look, it's interesting. Obviously, the player's really happy, and I'm sure the club's really happy to acquire his style. He's still relatively a young man, and it's a commitment from both. It's not unusual in other sports, particularly in American sports, and it might be something that football. I mean, we've tended to go. I know Chelsea did a couple of longer term ones as well. It might be a way clubs are going in the future, depending on sort of how, the sort of globally the game's moving. But see a lot of benefits for Man City in it, and I can see, and obviously if Erling's committed, he's really happy there.
Your goalkeeper, Antonin Kinski, can I please ask you, he played 3 games since he joined. First of all, what did you make of his performance on Wednesday? And in general, probably more important, moving forward, how are you hoping to support him and to allow it to carry on growing?
Yeah, look, it's fair to say we've thrown him in at the deep end, and he's had 3 pretty big challenges in different ways, and he's certainly gaining experience very, very quickly when you look at the games he's played, and like I said, the challenges within that. So, and I think he's handled it really well. He's I said from day one, he's a very assured sort of young man, and from a goalkeeping aspect, he's got all the attributes we're looking for, and I think he'll be a good fit for us. And like I said, we've thrown him at the deep end, but I think we'll get enormous benefit from that.
Facing David Moyes this weekend away from home, what impressed you the most with his longevity in management, and were you surprised with his decision to return to Everton?
No, not surprised. I mean, it's he showed at Everton. He's still still at the top of his game. He's a fantastic manager, and yes, I think longevity is a measure of your capabilities, particularly when you think of how long he's managed in the Premier League itself, and he's made an impact at the clubs he's been at. So I'm delighted to see him back because it means I'm not the oldest in the Premier League anymore. If we can get Roy off a beach somewhere, then I'd be even happier. But no, glad to have him back. Looking forward to seeing him. He's a top guy too. He's, I remember he reached out to me when I was at Celtic, a couple of years back, and top guy, David, and great to have him back.
Bradley.
Hi Ange, hope you're well. You said after the game in the week about how much you were hurting about the number of defeats that the team have experienced this season. Just how much are the players hurting about how difficult this season has been for the club as well?
Yeah, look, I'm sure they are, and it's not, as I said after the game, it's not acceptable for a club like ours to have that many defeats in a season, and irrespective of kind of the context of the situation we're in, I just feel like as much as the defeat on Wednesday night, it was about also the performance in that first half that I just felt we didn't do ourselves justice, and I'm sure the players are hurting, but whether I'm hurting or they're hurting, it's kind of irrelevant. We know our supporters are hurting, and we're the only ones that can change that.
And given the amount of issues you've experienced this season, has this been one of the most difficult seasons you've experienced in managing?
Look, every season's got its challenges. I mean, I haven't experienced the kind of injury or player absence, because it hasn't been just injuries, that we're currently going through. But every year is a different challenge. This is certainly a big one, my job is to make sure we get through it.
And on the flip side of that, lastly, you're still in 3 competitions in terms of the cups as well. How confident are you that you can make the second half of the season a success?
It's not about confidence, but I have great belief that we can make an impact for sure. But notwithstanding that, we still need to be better and more consistent in the league, irrespective of how we do in the cup competitions. And one can feed into the other, though, that's for sure. And we need to go to Everton on Sunday, and knowing that we've got we've got European football and cup football not long after that. Improvement in the league will help us on that journey as well. Thank you.
Jay, please.
Hi, Ange. Obviously, Fraser missed a couple of games at the beginning of this year with an illness. I just wanted to check in on how he's doing and if he's recovered yet.
He's back in training, and sort of first full training session's been sort of probably today and maybe the day before the last game. So he's just back into training.
So he's entered the final 6 months of his contract. So just wanted to know if there any idea what's going to happen with him in the future. Yeah, right now, I think our focus, and certainly my focus, is on trying to beat Everton on Sunday. Pedro Porro's played the most minutes for you in the league this season. I'm sure you'd love to give him a rest at some point, but it's basically a situation where you don't really have a choice. He's just got to keep playing.
Well, at the moment, yeah. I mean, we've got some alternatives there with obviously Jed and Archie can play there, but they're needed in other areas. So I think with all the guys at the back, they're doing a hell of a job for us, considering limited options. Hopefully, I mean, we should get Benny back this weekend, which gives us another body back there, and then I'm sure in the next couple of weeks, Romero and Van der Ven. But up until that point, for guys like Pedro and Archie, Radu, Jed are the main ones. It just means they're just got to keep soldiering on.
Ali.
With Ben Davies coming back, is there a case now in your mind of kind of getting Archie Gray back to what he's meant to be doing in midfield position, or has he kind of done enough to keep staking a claim to play there for now?
We don't have that luxury. I certainly don't have that luxury at the moment. Getting Benny back is great, but we're still pretty short defensively, and we've still got a lot of games before, even before Mickey and Romero, and certainly Destiny, are sort of back into the fold. So, we're still down to kind of minimum numbers. So, Archie he'll continue to do what he's been doing, mate. He's contributing every game, and whatever that may be for the team, he'll do that to his best.
I know the January market is obviously is a more difficult one. Is there any frustration at all, though, that you've kind of, it feels almost like you've missed this key period where the squad really needed help?
Well, it's not frustration. Look, it would be frustration, disappointment if the club weren't working hard. But I know how hard. I mean, look, it's an easy word to say, but I know how hard the club have been working behind the scenes to get something done. But it's not easy. You need sort of agreement from three different parties, and sometimes when you're in our situation, other clubs realise that and try and make the most of it. That's why I was delighted to get Tony in and fairly early, because it was that's kind of helped us for sure. But it's not for the want of trying. So I accept that, and I'm not disappointed or frustrated. I'm actually pleased at how hard the club is working.
Just on Lucas Bergvall, just a little one on him. He seems to be much stronger towards the end of games now. Is that just a consequence of the minutes, or have you guys and the coaches been working really specifically on his strength, his fitness, things like that?
I think it's a bit of consequence of the minutes, but also just his growth as a player and getting used to it. And like I said, at 18, they're still their body's developing. They're still kind of getting used to the levels, and he's certainly got a great capacity to work hard for sure. And you've seen that in the last couple of games, and that's great for us because again, with obviously Rodri out, and we'll see how Biss is now. He's going to be needed.
Hi Ange, getting close to the point of no return as it comes to qualifying for Europe, because you're starting to fall a bit behind the pack. If you don't start picking up these results as well in the future.
Oh look, again, I just don't look at things like that. Ultimately, we win. We've got to win games of football, and that starts on Sunday. We've got to go to Everton, try and win and get 3 points, and then focus on Europe after that. To kind of look at what's beyond that right now is kind of. It serves no purpose for me or anyone else. Where we end up is going to be where we end up. Whether that's realising our goals, our ambitions, or falling short, then time will tell.
How short would not qualifying for Europe at all be? Would that be a major problem in terms?
Again, so you're asking me to talk about something that's just not in my brain space. I mean, we'll get to that point if we get to that point. We may never get to that point, and it's irrelevant me talking about it, or we may get to that point and then I'll kind of look at it. But right now, nothing more important than us making sure we put in a strong performance away at Everton.
The other one I wanted to ask about is part of the picture of the form is the medical side and the injuries and stuff. And I've seen there's job adverts that have been out for head of medical. What's kind of happening with the sort of structural things behind the scenes? Is that a new structure coming in? Is it a different structure to the one that you thought about in the summer? Is there another look at it, another change?
No, that was always part of the planning. We changed kind of the head of high performance, and he's kind of made sure he's had a good look at how we do things and the structure of everything. And now he's, we haven't changed any people in there, but now he's looking to bring in some new people in these roles, which were always earmarked to happen around this time. Obviously, you've got to go through a process, and maybe some of the candidates, are already in other positions, so you've got to go through that sort of waiting period as well. But that was always part of the planning.
Finish with George, please.
Hi, Ange. Just go back to this window and transfers. I mean, can you afford to go forward with the squad you've got when everyone is fit for the second half of the season? Because there's going to be a lot of games if you want to go deep, isn't it?
Look, it depends on, it's constantly a moving kind of picture with these things. If everyone comes back and everyone stays back and fit, then yeah, but we've got players who've missed a fair bit of football. Guys like Wilson has hardly played, so is he going to come back and hit the ground running? Well, you just don't know these things. Like I said, Romero, Van der Ven, Destiny have all kind of had significant disruptions. Then you had like I said, Bentancur's kind of been in and out. Obviously lost Timo for a bit now, so there's all these kind of moving parts where you just don't know. Where we sit right now, I think we all know that we need some reinforcements. It's about trying to make that happen if we can in this window.
You mentioned Timo. I think you said he was going to get a scan. Or
he got a scan. He's got a hamstring tweak, so probably 3 to 4 weeks, I think.
And on Wednesday, you used Maddison and Kulusevski as part of the midfield three, which you did earlier in the season, to pretty good effect. Man United and Brentford. Was there a reason why you sort of moved away from using them as a part of that midfield three?
Well, yeah, there was a good reason. We ran out of strikers and had to play Decky at right wing. It's just like like a lot of decisions we've sort of had to make have just been trying to plug the holes we've got, and moving and shifting players around, and trying to manage their loads as well, because it's like whilst we've had a lot of injuries, we've also asked a lot of players a lot during this period, you know, and I've had to try and find ways to, you know, manage how much they play so we don't lose anyone else. Now, you know, we've sort of half got away with it, I hope, but, you know, even for guys like I said, you know, Brennan picked up a tweak. That's just on the back of even him trying to manage his loads over the last sort of 2 months. It's been a big shift for the players in there.
Okay, we'll end the broadcast section there. Move on to the embargoed section for 10:30 p.m. tonight. Matt.